Tamar's story is often ignored, yet her life holds one of Scripture's most surprising lessons about courage and justice. Her name appears quietly in Genesis, yet her journey challenges everything we think we understand about justice and redemption. Tamar lived in a culture where a woman's future depended entirely on the men of her household. Her hope rested on them. Her name means palm tree, a symbol of strength in harsh places. She would need every bit of that strength. When Tamar married Judah's son hope seemed near, but his sudden death marked the beginning of her long suffering. With gone, Tamar became a young widow. In her world, childlessness meant shame, fear, and an uncertain future. By law, Judah's next son Onan was expected to protect Tamar's future and continue the family line through her. But Onan refused to honor the custom. His disobedience cost him his life, leaving Tamar widowed a second time. Judah promised Tamar she would marry his youngest son, Shelah, once he was grown. It was her one hope for dignity. She returned to her father's home to wait. Days passed, then months, then years, but Judah never sent for her. Shelah grew into adulthood, but Tamar remained forgotten. Judah ignored his promise, leaving her stuck in endless waiting. The injustice was painful. Judah had broken a sacred law, leaving Tamar without protection, purpose, or a future. Then Tamar learned Judah was traveling to Timnah, and in that moment, a bold and risky plan formed in her heart. She removed her widow's garments, the symbol of her forgotten place, and prepared for the most daring act of her life. Veiled and unrecognizable, she waited at the roadside. Tamar was ready to fight for the justice she had been denied. Judah traveled toward Timnah, unaware that the woman waiting ahead was the very one he had abandoned years before. He saw her sitting near Enaim and did not recognize her. To him, she looked like a cult prostitute by the roadside. Judah approached her, unaware he was walking straight into the moment that would expose his own hypocrisy. When Judah offered payment, Tamar asked for a pledge, his signet ring, his cord, and his staff, proof of his identity. Judah agreed without hesitation. In giving her his ring, cord, and staff, he unknowingly sealed his own judgment. Months passed. When people learned Tamar was pregnant, whispers spread quickly throughout the village. Rumors intensified. People concluded she had acted immorally. The news quickly reached Judah, and he reacted without mercy. When Judah heard Tamar was pregnant, he declared a harsh sentence: "Bring her out and let her be burned." Tamar was brought forward for judgment, but she carried something in her hands, something that would change everything. Tamar sent a message: "By the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant." The truth struck Judah like thunder. Judah recognized the ring instantly. There was no escape. The woman he condemned carried his own pledge in her hands. In front of everyone, he admitted the truth. Tamar's courage exposed his failure, not her own. Then Judah declared words that echoed across generations: "She is more righteous than I." Tamar was vindicated. What looked like her ruin became the turning point of her life and Judah's. Her courage had restored justice, and soon her children would carry a purpose far greater than anyone imagined. Time passed, and the day came for Tamar to give birth. What began with sorrow was about to turn into surprising joy. She wasn't alone. Skilled midwives surrounded her with care as the long-awaited moment finally arrived. The first child's hand appeared, and the midwife tied a red thread to mark him, but the unexpected was still ahead. Despite the marked hand, the second baby emerged first. Tamar had given birth to twins in a startling turn of events. The twins, Perez and Zerah, were born healthy. Tamar's courage had carried her from disgrace to unexpected honor. Judah came to see her again, this time not as an accuser, but as a man humbled by truth and mercy. For the first time, Judah saw the bigger truth. God had worked through the very woman he had wronged. Tamar was no longer the forgotten widow. She stood honored, carrying a future far bigger than anyone imagined. One of the twins, Perez, would grow to carry a lineage that would transform the destiny of all humanity. Through Perez, Tamar entered the genealogy of kings, and eventually the genealogy of the promised Messiah. Tamar's name appears quietly in Scripture, yet her place is anything but small. Her courage shaped generations to come. Perez, one of Tamar's sons, became a direct ancestor of Israel's greatest kings, and the Messiah himself. Her life proved a powerful truth. God does not hide complicated stories. He transforms them into redemptive ones. Matthew's gospel honors her by name. God made sure Tamar's courage would be recorded for all generations. Her story shows that no injustice, no rejection, and no shame can stop God's purpose from unfolding in a willing heart. Tamar's story calls us to confront injustice, even when fear is loud and the path forward seems impossible. She teaches us that courage is not loud. It is steady, quiet, and willing to do what is right when no one else will. Her life shows that God sees the overlooked, hears the forgotten, and restores the ones the world tries to silence. God placed Tamar's name in the lineage of kings, not hidden in shame, but honored in his eternal story. Her story reminds us that God can turn the deepest pain into purpose and rewrite any life with grace and honor. Centuries later, Matthew wrote her name into Jesus' genealogy, proving that God honors stories others try to hide. From Perez came kings, prophets, and ultimately the Messiah. Tamar's courage became part of a sacred destiny. Her life shows that God does not discard the broken or forgotten, he weaves them into his greatest works. Tamar teaches us that our past does not disqualify us. God can redeem any story, no matter how complicated. Her story reminds us that when human justice fails, God's justice still stands. Strong, merciful, and unshakable. Tamar's journey shows us that God sees the pain others overlook, and he restores what injustice tries to destroy. Her life tells us to be brave, to seek justice, and to trust that God is working even when the path feels impossible. Her courage reminds us that God can take what seems broken and turn it into a testimony of strength and redemption. God lifted Tamar from shame to honor, proving that his plans are bigger than any failure, rejection, or injustice. Her story reminds us that God transforms broken beginnings into beautiful endings when we trust him with our lives. Tamar's courage speaks across generations, reminding us that God restores dignity to every heart that seeks his justice. The Bible honors her by name. Judah begot Perez and Zerah by Tamar. Her story became part of God's greatest plan. Her life shows that God can redeem any chapter, heal deep wounds, and turn brokenness into generational blessing. Tamar's journey teaches us to trust God when life feels unfair, knowing he sees, remembers, and restores the forgotten. May Tamar's courage inspire you today. God never forgets your pain, and he is still writing your story with grace.